different type of realities without ultimately getting this reality correct. So I believe that there are people that are not getting even this reality correct, yet they're trying to create other realities based on being the wrong math. They're being the wrong math. They're not even correcting themselves to adapt to the truth, to create the true reality that exists. So I feel like there's groups that are breaking off, or what they're doing is they're not allowing a bunch of people to know what the truth is, and they may be problematic. In general, in the flow of all time, I do agree that everybody, every being, should know this in general, in terms of what I've been mentioning, what other people based on truth have been mentioning, that know a thing or two. In the flow of all time, that can occur without, no, in the flow of all time, that can occur with changes occurring and without any form of tampering in the process, forbidden aspects being partaken in, physical, emotional harm in general, rule of thumb, mixing of things, and nonsense partaking of things that are tied and connected to whether material, people, or animals for some type of an issue to occur. So ultimately, is that in the correct way, all things to do with truth, everything to do with truth is possible. And do keep in mind that everything, the word everything, has to do with truth. People cannot say, oh, everything is possible, and then think they are truth, and then do something based on lies, and say, oh, look, no, everything is not possible, or everything is possible based on this way or that way. And then, of course, this way or that way, and the way they had something is short or falls short of what reality truly is. And so, what do people need to do? They need to change themselves in all aspects of reality. They need to change themselves in all aspects of reality. They have to create the balance within themselves in all aspects of reality. And in doing so, in creating the change, they will then be able to project their change onto another, understanding self before understanding another. The ripple effect, in other words, will take place. So there's much more to the details, there's much more to the story. Ultimately, this is not about me just continuously talking and saying everything, because things don't make sense for me to, since this is the whole of whole things. What does make sense is for people to be able to change a bunch of things in reality, to be able to adapt to various other things in reality. Because there's a clash going on. There's things that make perfect sense for me about 10 minutes ago, and I totally understood, I didn't mention. When things make sense with me, when things are flow with me, I flow back. When there's clouds, less things start making sense, I kind of drift off and not continue saying what I say because things don't make sense anymore. So that's what I'm feeling at this moment of time. Things were making much more perfect sense earlier, and things are making much less sense at the very second, for instance. Why? Because you got things that are perfectly resonating with me, and things that are not resonating with me that people are possibly putting in my book, in my movie, in my reality, or attaching some type of a thing in that moment of time for some type of a issue to possibly occur, or some people don't know what they're doing, so some type of an issue may occur, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, what does need to occur, what people do need to understand, is they have to make sense to make sense. You have to make sense to make sense for everything else to work out correctly. If people are not doing that very important task in being the change, clashes or issues occurring like a result, and things won't make sense the way things are supposed to make sense. So that's just a little bit of details and a thing that I want to say. I don't want to add on to more. Ultimately, in various aspects of reality, I feel totally wrong. And I'm sure a lot of people do in various aspects of reality. And that is ultimately what needs to change. To not change that and expect different results, things won't work out correctly. And this change needs to occur immediately. The more lie-based things that there are, the more lie-based things that people catch themselves and change immediately, the more things will change accordingly in all aspects of reality. Any form of thing that is not making sense to you has to be disconnected, and in time, based on totality of all things, the more things make sense to you, things have to be abundantly transparent in general in all aspects of reality if possible, not possible, created possible, for things to make sense. There's a lot of phases I'm going through, a lot of shifts I'm going through, a lot of aspects I'm being done, and this is making way for me to do other things that are needed. Just like I was mentioning earlier, when somebody's continuously throwing dirt on the floor and I'm continuously picking things up, not particularly to do with that, however, in various other aspects, that is going on, and I have to continuously go this back and forth thing for something to be done, for me to be able to move on to something else so no damages will occur. People don't even understand the significance of all this type of stuff. And yet they have some type of a judgment that they do blindly. And so in general, all these things need to change. All these things need to be understood. People need to be aware. People need to realize. People need to connect the dots, do their part for changes to occur, for other changes to occur. This is law-based stuff. There's no reason why things should not work. The only reason things are not working is because people are not doing the changes that they need to do. You must be the change for change to occur. You cannot not be the change for change to occur. You cannot expect different results. The more beings in general, in all aspects of reality, the more things in all aspects of reality are saved, the longer truth will be, the longer the planet will be. A person, instead of living 100 years, they can live 1,000 years, and 1,000 years will be 100 years.